Hello, good evening, welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on news up at Tade Sawe Kanda, also live on TV and on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey. Tonight, we take you into the world of the commercial sex workers who are selling semen to unsuspecting persons. We understand, in this case, to some fetish priests and other traditionalists for purposes not yet established. My colleague Stanley Nibleu went undercover, exposed the underworld of these sperm merchants. We have a lawyer joining us for a conversation on this. Also, we go into the forgotten cinemas and tell you the state of the public or the state-owned cinemas that have been abandoned to rot. My colleague Obusu Orai took a trip to one of the forgotten cinemas, and we have the details of what's happening there right now. Movies are not being shown there, but something very interesting is happening in these cinemas. Stay with us, we'll tell you on Ghana Tonight. And hope amongst parents of newly born and infants is getting dashed, as government says it will take another 3 weeks for the childhood vaccines to arrive, although payment of some $6.4 million has been made to UNICEF. We understand. We'll discuss what this means for a shortage of vaccines. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. We have these and more. And we'll tell you the vulnerable population when it comes to this shortage of vaccines. We've just got some information coming through from the Ghana Police Service. Stay with me. But you can join us on Facebook and Twitter. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight. Let's get talking. We've just got some information on the murder or the alleged killing of this young soldier that led to the military storming a Sherman and rounding up some 184 residents there. 150 released, we understand earlier today. The remaining 34 have been handed over to the Ghana Police Service. This is the information on the Facebook page of the Ghana Police Service some 38 minutes ago. They say police arrest key suspect in the murder of Imoro Sheriff, a soldier. Just brief detail. They say the police, after a week of sustained intelligence-led operation, have arrested the key suspect involved in the murder of Imoro Sheriff, the soldier who was found dead at Taifa Asherman on 4th March 2023. When you go on the Ghana Police Service Facebook page, this is the only information they have put on that page about the said arrest of the key suspects so far. Now, there is a directive from the IGP for the police not to grant interviews to the media. That directive is still in force. So this is all we have from the Ghana Police Service on the latest development in the Asherman alleged killing of this soldier case. So unfortunately, we cannot go beyond this statement from the Ghana Police Service because of that directive by the IGP, but this is what they've put out, and we're still asking questions and getting some more sources to give us some more information. So stay with us here on Ghana Tonight, but let's settle for Ghana Briefs. Parents and guardians will have to wait 3 more weeks for the arrival of childhood vaccines in the country. Appearing before Parliament, Health Minister Kwekwa Jumameno said government has paid $6.5 million to UNICEF for the supply of measles vaccines. The shortage of the vaccines dates back to November last year.
A very serious, public interest issue. The assurances I will give, and I can give for the first time in the chamber here, that this will not happen again. And I will advise that you help me in my advocacy to get adequate funding for vaccines, even the health insurance budget, so that if Parliament approves adequately for us, we always have our budget well defined, we will be able to supply. And I'll assure you that whatever challenges that happened, I don't think we are going to face these possible challenges any longer. And I'll stand here and assure the House that within the 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we will get vaccines.
Director of the Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research at the Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Training Center, Professor Kwesi has noted that government must lead the way in finding a solution to what is increasingly becoming a weakened military-civilian relationship.
A shaman fits, unfortunately, into that long history of what is increasingly looking like a weak civil-military relations culture in the Fourth Republic. And when Edra happened, and I had argued that this was symptomatic of a frustration within society and increasing tension within society, the uniformed forces in the Ashanti region then took it as an opportunity to lambast and to abuse me. I hope they will be bold enough to come on your station and to say, Kwesi, we are very sorry.
The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, fears basic schools face imminent shutdown in the coming weeks if government fails to pay the capitation grant, which has been in arrears for 3 years. The group expressed surprise about the silence of President Akufo-Addo on the delay in the payment of the capitation grant and the State of the Nation address.
Schools have run for 3 years and you have paid capitation grant approximately only one. The question is, where will the funding come from? The teachers. Are we saying that teachers should go and look for money to come and run the schools? No. No, we need to ask ourselves, how are the schools running without capitation grants? How are the schools running? How are the schools running? Okay, and I think that it is about time we correct this thing. The capitation grant must be going, all the resources to the basic schools must be going.
Former Finance Minister Setekwe says Ghana's management of oil proceeds should be far better than what is being done for cocoa and gold. He maintains that it was regrettable that the NPP government depleted funds from both the stabilization and the sinking funds, thus accruing debts for future generations.
So the petroleum funds are very important. We shouldn't look at just, the amount, and dismiss it as this is actually another thing for us to go into the future, because as I said, the IMF SDR and the money taken from the stabilization fund, I believe that, we should remove the cap, right? Or take it slightly up so that we start taking money again and putting into the sinking fund. It shouldn't be fair, to deplete it, and then leave the debt for future generations.
You can find more on 3news.com. That news just coming in. The Ghana Police Service says it has arrested the key suspects in the murder of Sheriff Imoro, the soldier at Ashaiman. That's the statement. Well, it's a Facebook post on the Ghana Police Service's official Facebook page just about some 40 minutes ago. In a release, the police noted that the suspect was arrested through a sustained intelligence-led operation. And it will be recalled that on Saturday, March 4, 2023, a young soldier was murdered at Ashaiman, Taifa. His death, however, angered the military, for which in the early hours of Tuesday, March 7, some military personnel invaded Ashaiman, a suburb here in Accra, and brutalized some residents in their search for the perpetrators of their colleague's murder. During the search for the perpetrators, a number of residents were arrested. In fact, 184, according to a member of parliament for the area, Enes Nogbe, which the last badge was released today. So that is the information from the Ghana Police Service. This is the latest on the reported murder of Imoro Sheriff, who has since been buried. Say some key suspects involved in the murder have so far been arrested. Stay with us. This is Ghana Tonight. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. We're getting to the matters for tonight.
Hello! Have you heard of the Franco air condition, specially made to fit the Ghanaian weather? It has authentic capabilities, which is the original sizes ranging from the 1.5 horsepower, 2.0 horsepower, and the 2.5 horsepower. So if you are looking for an air condition to fit your homes, offices, schools, hotels, apartments, churches, it's Franco Trading Enterprise. For bulk purchases, look no further than Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise, the home of quality air conditioning.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period no say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me mogam no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kura mienu foforo kwa na me kwan mu a eba
and everything yourself
me ma me no adwojo eda ho a wontumi nante and then ko end point o mama nura and then the why dia watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you
of Acrobato.
Hello
Hey, ohwehwe what che
okay
a free bra wo di end point wa dance am me call you no me Johnson sema na enkoyie empeso na ma yemre nyina na magina sebema na me be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa.
You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Balancing man and woman, chiefs, papa farmer, papa soldier and policeman, Mr. DCE, Mr. politician and businessman, Mr. foreigner. Your greed is destroying our future. You are selling our precious rich farmlands. You are destroying our forests. And you are destroying our water bodies. You are gradually emptying our country of our prized cocoa through illegal mining. You may be doing this today for gold and money, but tomorrow this country will lack drinking water, our forests will be depleted, and we will have next to nothing from cocoa exploitation. If we do not end this, your sons and daughters will live in a very dark future, filled with diseases, violence, famine, and poverty. We have the power to correct the wrong by standing together and supporting government to stop the pollution and destruction. There are community mining and alternative livelihood programs happening in your communities. Sign on and mine the legal and responsible way. Ghana, let's unite and work together to end galamsey. This message is powered by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and the Minerals Commission.
We are on a mission promoting access to quality health and education through the power of our media space. Since 2014, we have made great impact. TV3 mission now drives Ghana's quest to break barriers and provide access to inclusive and quality girls' education, together with women's maternal health services. Our mission to address the needs of the socially excluded has won the admiration of many. Indeed, TV3 Mission gets you the results. Mission is live on TV3 News 360 every Saturday and Sunday. Supported by Star Ghana Foundation, with thanks to Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office. Welcome back to Ghana Tonight. We are live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. This expose, in fact, our latest expose here at TV3 has got a lot of you talking on social media. We're going to be getting to some of the comments, but it is touted as the oldest profession, but now becoming more dangerous for patrons and not the practitioners. I'm talking about commercial sex work. Our latest feature, Sperm Merchants, by my colleague Stanley Nibleu, our investigative journalist here at TV3, explored how some commercial sex workers exchange semen of clients for ritual purposes. In fact, they sell the semen of these clients for ritual purposes. We found out that and more. Take a look at this.
An unfortunate reality is a belief that parts of their clients' body parts could be engaged for money with cultists who need them for their rituals. This has led many into the sale of the sperm of customers. Sperms collected in condoms during their sexual escapades with their clients are secretly sold out. The first time I heard about this was when I visited a source at a slum inhabited by sex workers near the Kwame Nkrumah interchange in 2017. Two years later, I came across this video on YouTube that affirmed what my source had earlier told me.
Condom see a condom. Me tell me condom ameto. Condom me say anya de e wo ton store na e das good store no. De o mo use mpe de o mo use no. Anya de e good store.
Be man ni oba na da na ni.
And de o mo use no.
Good be there, good be there.
Ya de ye ne ma bebre. Even ye wa show for ye bo mo pa mo pesa ne ma no ba. O kwa show ni na wo like now no ko da bi on pin ma pa condom no ko. One o make much trouble be a udro to see ya. One obi kra da wi a udi condom wa go make sure say kan yakun because on no na eniska.
With this revelation, I became more curious. I am Stanley Nibleu. I am embarking on this project to know more about the dark side of the local sex trade, those involved in it, and why they do what they do. Initial investigations revealed that the sperm trade is common in the Upper West, Ashanti, and Greater Accra regions. Having acquired much information, I got to work. Wa, the capital of the Upper West region, was my first port of call. I was led to a popular hotel at Nakore, a suburb of the regional capital. The hotel had been turned into a brothel because the sex workers believed to be from neighboring countries have taken over the rooms and paid off the daily charge to ply their trade. Some of the occupants, we understand, have been staying at this hotel for close to 2 years. In this hotel, the sperm market is run by a cartel. Not just anybody can buy from these ladies. You would have to be a known client, or you have to be rock solid and not a spy. I first met Gloria, not her real name, in one of the hotel rooms at Nakore. Before then, my fixer has already discussed with her about me and my intent to purchase some sperm. She was meeting me for the first time, so she was suspicious and careful dealing with me. She denied knowledge about the sperm sale for rituals and became more hostile as a measure to test whether I have come for a genuine business. It took 4 days to convince her and gain my trust after telling her I worked for a secret cult and that the sperm I wanted to buy was a requirement. On the 5th day, she met me at the hotel I was lodging to deliver the first consignment. She brought 15 pieces of used condoms containing sperms of clients. A condom containing sperm cost 100 cedis at the time.
Sit down.
Gloria, after receiving her cash and certifying me as a genuine client, introduced me to another compatriot who was also into the sperm trade.
Yeah, how are you doing? Our police were. Hello, good morning, Favor. How are you?
I'm fine. I will study what you do, that I will come. Which of them?
Do you have some of the 10?
Yes,
How many?
10.
10. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So you don't worry. I'll call you to come. Okay. Okay.
I hear.
So, these are just a summary of it. But as we go on, we're going to play aspects of it. My colleagues' interaction with some of these commercial sex workers, and they take us through the process of selling this semen to their client, the spiritualist or ritualist for that matter. But guess what? There's a lot more that's coming up after this documentary was aired. So many of you pointing us to other areas where we should take interest. My colleague who worked on this documentary is joining us on Zoom, Stanley Nibleu. Thank you so much. And congratulations to you, because you are our Citizen of the Week. We celebrate you on Ghana Tonight. Also joining us is lawyer Christian Mamhesi. Thank you so much. And I'll tell you why lawyer Christian Mamhesi is also joining us as we go on, and what the law has to do with all of this. Stay with me. Stanley Nibleu, first off, we saw you in the Upper East region, but how many brothels did you visit in doing this documentary that's won you so many accolades?
Okay, so Alfred, first of all, I must say that, in 2017, I did a similar feature on the sex workers. And then that prompted the AMA, after we had petitioned them, presented a copy of the documentary to the mayor, then that was Mohamed Ni Ejesowa.
Right.
So he quickly mobilized his people, and then he moved in to demolish the area. And in the course of trying to piece together that documentary, while in the slum at Kwame Nkrumah Circle, then two of my sources then whispered to me that this aspect of the trade also exists. And so I didn't take it that serious. But until the following year, 2018, when I was surfing the internet and I came across that video that I featured in this documentary, where an alleged Sakawa guy is being interviewed, and he also confirmed that in the trade exists among the sex workers. And so I took in interest to delve deeper into what the nitty-gritties are, because I got to realize that people have been talking about it.
I see. Unfortunately, we lost the connection with Stanley, but we'll rectify that connection. But let me bring you here, lawyer Christian Hesimao. What is the position of the law? I mean, yes, this commercial sex work is illegal, but the position of the law on the sale of semen in this country?
So the thing is that legislation does not exist in that area. In fact, the whole gamut, when we say gamut, it means sperm donation and egg donation. The whole gamut and assisted reproductive technology, ART, is not regulated in the country, to the extent that their society, Fertility Society of Ghana, had to draft a bill to be presented in Parliament so that it goes through the various reading processes and debate for legislation to come in that area.
Right.
So that in regulating that area, donation of gametes, that eggs from the women and then sperms, there will be a proper regulation on it to balance rights and all of that. if you look at the UK, US, the UK has even an authority that deals with it. They have the Human Fertility or Fertilization and Embryology Authority that deals with some of these things, and then the American Society of Reproductive Medicine. So they deal with it. But when you come to Ghana, that whole landscape is more like free for all, and it's a big problem that as modernity has brought or has gotten to the extent of assisted reproductive technology stage, our laws should be up to speed to deal with the level of technology and balance the rights, because in those areas, donors' rights are not donors' rights in terms of, say, inheritance, maintenance, child support. The law states all those things clearly. The number of donation that one can do, the families, the minimum limit of families that one can do per population. You know, all these things are stipulated by the law.
I see.
And that helps in the regulation of it. But as of now in Ghana, it is more like these societies are doing, or these clinics are doing what they best believe will be ethical. And we cannot function as a country like that.
Indeed.
So there are no clear legal regime that regulates these things. In some other countries too, you have what we call sperm theft in their regulations. But here, we don't have what we call sperm theft. All that we have is theft under Act 29. So if somebody steals that, proper so-called, we don't have that. And if you look at the Constitution, Article 1911 deals with the fact that there need to be a defined offense and a prescribed sanction.
Okay.
So if other jurisdictions have it defined of what sperm theft is and the sanction for it, because in those countries there are the laws regulating all of these fertility, or albeit the assisted reproductive technology is advanced and better regulated. It takes care of all of these things, and the sanction regimes are there. So now that in Ghana, we don't have clear rules and regulations that deal with it, the question is, if the law is tested, it would either be that we are going to rely on, and that's when it's tested, then it would be for the courts to decide whether somebody who steals someone's sperm will go under Act 29 for the law to deal with it. And it will also be the defense of the other party to say that the charges leveled are not defined as indicated by Article 1911. So this is the lacuna that exists. And this proposal of the bill was mounted somewhere 2021. I don't know the extent it has gotten to now. It was led by their president, one Dr. Edem Hiaji. I don't know where they've gotten to now with all of these things. So clearly said, the area needs regulation, and of course it borders on ethics and law. If you ask what is the minimum that a person needs to donate in respect of a population, it is not known.
I see.
In the US, for example, regulations say that a donor should have 10 beds per 800,000 population.
Right.
You get it? So that is the situation.
I see. But I mean, in this case, I don't know if we can describe this as a theft, because the patrons and the actors are all engaged in illegality. I mean, the commercial sex workers and those who are patronizing them. So, I mean, the sale of the semen of their patrons, does it fall within the bracket of a theft as in what you are defining? And then also help me, because if there is no law regulating the sale of semen in this country, does that mean that the established fertility centers are also, operating based on this lacuna? There's no law bothering on that?
No, that whole enclave is existing on its own. It's a gray area. That whole enclave is existing on its own. There are no laws that govern strictly so-called the fertility arrangements. That's assisted reproductive technology. We don't have laws regulating assisted reproductive technology.
So it's a gray area even for these established fertility centers, and you've talked about what the process of the law is being employed now. So in this case, even the commercial sex workers would not have any question to answer in the law because it is a gray area, and they're selling the semen of their patrons to these ritualists. There is no law around it. I mean, in the true sense of the word. That's what you're saying.
Yes, so in the situation of the sex workers, if a sex worker steals your sperms, and you later find out that this is the situation, you could bring an action against that person for lack of consent. And ordinarily, if assessing the work of a prostitute is one thing that is done in the shadows or under the cover of darkness, one would think that it will be very difficult for persons to go to court and openly prosecute a sex worker who's stealing his sperms for obvious reasons. So that's the problem, because it's society abhors that. So society, it is more like, or it is seems that society abhors that. So that's how come people who patronize sex workers do it under the cover of darkness. So it would seem more like a disgrace now having to bring your closet issues in the fore of the court or the public, because when you go to court, your matter is public.
Indeed.
The court is not a place of concealment, but we have cases that are held in chambers, just like divorce cases and other family law matters, So that's it. But with things like this, it will be in the public, and well, it depends on whoever wants to take it to establish a principle of law. But all these areas are gray laws in our laws. So the best thing is to protect yourself. As in, when you are done, you carry your condom away, and so that you sleep in peace. If only you want to patronize such people, not just sex workers, but people that you cannot ascertain some of their secret networks. For some of the ladies, they are engaged. You see, you sometimes come across people through, reading from literature and hearing the stories of people. It's crazy. So there must be some form of protection by men, so that you don't fall to some of these negativities in society. It's beginning to emerge, and it's all about money. It's the drive to get money, whether it's the Sakawa boys or it's the females. And from what I have read, some of these guys contact these females for it. So you don't know who is working for who.
Indeed.
So to be safe, then protect yourself and carry your thing away.
I see. Well, let me go back to Stanley Nibleu, the man behind this documentary. We're going to reconnect with him. But take a look at this. Kiki. Kiki is one of the cement merchants that Stanley spoke to in this documentary. Take a look. We will bring that shortly, but Stanley is back on Zoom. Stanley, if you could, can you hear me, Stanley? Hello, Stanley, can you hear me? We'll reconnect with Stanley Nibleu, but take a look at Kiki, one of the many cement merchants in this documentary.
Because of spends no. So far as I would German spend major amount, and I miss Mojido me say me who won't bait. You can't do me anything. What's me never share.
Because of your protection.
Of course. Minimum there. If you are meaning what them, they are meaning that. It's me show me baby anyame. Never.
Na condom magono moto on the same.
Oh. Say obi o. In spends in the doors. A dawson. Obi so one day no. And also, Tiatono, yes, sir, you do on an some of the amount. Miss Michelle be no, because to be honest, there may be on maybe I'll know be she actually or relaxes or no bow on my it also. Yeah, me and I'm in damage.
Before sex with her, the wearing of condom is compulsory, but her reason is not for protection against sexually transmitted diseases.
Spams in a day. Sorry to say, it's here for me, fan me. A binom ye to be chine, a bin so de your tone. Mean to me, bobo, a month for me, mom, so they mean to me, bomb there. By secret, a woman say, me, because I mean to me, cheddar, my day, bates. Me bring ban more for it, Mr. Me, come home. Me, because I mean, no more. Me, one girl, me, 10 years girl. As if say adia me ye me busa me ho say mambo me ho ban na me lusu me ho ho never share me ban na ma me ye nti also me bomb me ho ban me bomb me to me bomb me ho ban.
She belongs to a secret cult, so she has no mercy for clients that she preys on.
Lucifer Kingdom a group we are only akoma with me to me. Me fan say wow to me the I mean spams no ejuma yi. Yeah, we will be like time for being ma. Me just a group need do shame by lady beer. Me find it's very no queen.
That's Kiki. There's also Sharon as well. Stanley, you're back. So I was asking, how many of these brothels you visited and how prevalent is this sale of the semen or for rituals that you observed?
So, Alfred, if you talk about the prevalent level or the prevalent rates in the country, when I went to WA, those who actually are into this trade operate in a cartel. So, in WA, for instance, those operating there, they have people in Accra that they are affiliated to or with. And so, whatever happens there, their counterparts in Accra also do the same thing. And so when I went to work, for instance, I was led to a popular hotel in Nakore, and that hotel, the owner that actually built that hotel gave out my further investigations revealed that the owner of the hotel gave it out to the sex workers to stay there and ply their activities. And so that was what has been happening. And then when I met the first girl, that is Gloria. So when you get to the hotel, every sex worker is having a street name or a pseudonym. So all the names they are bearing at the hotel where they apply their trade, they don't call themselves by their real names. And so Gloria, the first person I met, Immediately I met, but then my fixer had already spoken to her about me, but she did not believe what I was coming to do, and she has also never seen me before. So immediately I entered her room. In her room, there is no chair for me to sit. It's only the bed. So she offered me the bed to sit down. And then quickly, she started to undress herself before me. But I stopped there along the way because she thought I was in to patronize her. But I told her that I did not come to probably have sex with her. And so she had to put back her dress. And in the course of doing that, she became very suspicious and she got angry in the sense that no man has entered her room and had prevented her from undressing herself. So it took me some time. We spent hours trying to go straight to the point with my mission. So, like I said in the documentary, it took me 4 days to convince her. And then, just to ensure that I have come to do a genuine business, she got angry with me, trying to see whether I'll go back or I'll retreat from what I was doing, but I didn't. I persisted. And then on the 5th day, she came to deliver the first consignment. And she also introduced me to another person. So this Gloria girl was someone that was brought from Nigeria to come and do commercial sex work so that her madam that brought her actually gave her a bounty, a fixed rate that she should pay. After that, she'll be set free. So she went to Kumasi. Kumasi was where she was brought to. And then after paying the 5,000 cedis, her madam asked her to pay through the sex work. She was set free. And so she came to Accra to join a cartel of sperm merchants in Accra. From Accra, then she moved to Wa. And so while in Wa, after I revealed my identity to her that this is who I truly am, then she then opened up to tell me that if I tried to delve deeper like I had wanted to do, I could lose my life. And so the best thing that I can do is to investigate, or I should be shallow about whatever I was trying to do. So she actually showed me places where they have been converging and plying their merchandise in Accra. So when you go to Kwabenya, they have a very big building over there that most of the sex workers are in there. And then there is a popular hotel too in the same Kwabenya area that they also do. She only mentioned the name to me, and then I came to see for myself what has been going on. So that has been the situation. And so when I came to Accra, I tried to visit other areas as well.
Right.
I tried to visit other areas as well. And so I can say that there are people in this business that are also doing genuine business, because from the documentary, the first lady that you saw in the documentary, wearing the dress, I tried to convince her. I spent 3 months with her trying to convince her to sell semen of men to me. But anytime I confront this girl, she will tell me that, Stanley, I didn't mention my name to her anyway. So she will tell me that it is a sin. I don't want to do this. I've never done this before. So some are doing genuine business, genuine prostitution, but others too have had to add the sperm merchandise activities to whatever they do.
Stanley, we celebrate you, and congratulations to you. You are Citizen of the Week. Thank you so much for this, and also bringing these issues and the happenings of the underworld to light for the Ghanaian people, and indeed people across the world to also see, because we've got reactions from all over the world about this documentary. Thank you so much for this. Stanley Nibley is my colleague here at Media General, exposing the the semen merchants and what's happening in the underworld. This is Ghana Tonight. Another issue which is of concern is the forgotten cinemas. But let me also thank you, lawyer Christian Esimam, as well, for joining us on this. But I'm going to put something on the screen right now. For the many of you who grew up until the 50s, 60s, 70s. You can relate to this. When the first black man to establish cinemas or get into the cinemas business, that is Alfred Ocansey, established a cinema in Accra. But beyond that, a lot of the cinemas were owned by Lebanese and then also some Indians as well. Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah had a plan after we got independence. But where is the state of these state-owned cinemas as we speak? See what's on the screen right now. A number of them we're going to put on the screen right now so you see it. These are you look at the Rex Cinema behind the hockey pitch at the Tema Station in Accra, Rex Cinema. You see the state of the Rex Cinema if you go to Tema Station. Let's go to the next one. Palladium. Palladium. How many of you know this? Then also you have Opera Cinema. The Opera Cinema also in Accra Central. You have a lot of trading activities there. The Orion Cinema, Kwame Nkrumah Circle, or the Kwame Nkrumah Interchange, which is being occupied by churches now. The Olympia Cinema as well. Olympia is the name of a popular bus stop in La Accra. Olympia, if you know the place. Then also the others, we have Orbit. Orbit Cinema, that was in Kaneshi, Casino Cinema, Tema, Regal. Regal is in Osu La. That Osu La Road leading to Accra. You see Osu Regal. If you patronize public transport a lot, that's one of the bus stops you know, Osu Regal. Roxy Cinema also now in a sorry state. Royal Cinema. You have the Sid Theatre as well in Jowolo. That is also in a sorry state as we speak. A number of them have actually been taken over by squatters who are plying their trade and using that place as a place of abode. Now, my colleague, Osu Orai, visited one of these abandoned cinemas. Take a look.
In decades gone by, cinemas were central to the growth of entertainment in Ghana. Accra could boast of a number of well-patronized cinemas then, the likes of Rex, Globe, Orion, Opera, Royal, Oxford, Orbit, Casino, Vision 66, Plaza and Palladium cinemas. All in Accra aired movies and musicals on weekends and weekdays. These spaces attracted hundreds of movie enthusiasts who joined long queues to watch major blockbusters. Standing proudly along the Circle at the Braka Road on the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue, the Roxy Cinema served moviegoers in the late 80s and 90s. Uncle Sam, a native of Adabraka, recalls the glory days of the Roxy Cinema.
It was one of the #1 cinemas in Accra. On weekends, they bring new movies. So we normally come here to satisfy ourselves with the movies. Before you come to the cinema, you have to form a long queue and then join it. And then there were other guards who were guarding us, policemen and so on. They were caning us and so on. So every time, people were rushing too much. There were a whole lot of people, crowd. You can't believe it.
During this place, we were having the nice movies, Chinese movies, Indian movies, Love in Tokyo, 5 Shaolin Masters, Disciples of Shaolin, Guantanamo Buddha Show, The Drunken Master. Whenever there's going to be a very big movie, people even bring drums, percussions, coming to support the Broma, the so-called Broma. People pay tickets. Some also want to cross the line. Because we want to go and catch early seats in first so they can watch the movie very well.
67-year-old Lime, aka Yai, grew up in Adabraka and used to frequent Roxy.
We used to come here night, you know. When we buy food dress, we come to Roxy you know, with our guests and everything, you know. I'm worried because it's not functioning. It's not functioning. When you enter the place now, Charlie, when you see Charlie, everything, Charlie, Basa, something.
The once grand and imposing.
And a number of you sharing your fond memories of these state-owned cinemas with us. One here from Ankan Anaya on Facebook says there were lunchtime movies known as Tue. And then this one also here is that says Tue. So this is Tue. Okay. Then this one here says that never ever forgotten about these experiences. The Five Shaolin Masters. I remember that movie as well. Let's go on Zoom now. Abe Kusego is a veteran actor, writer, producer, director. And then also Bismarck Odumsaki is head of public affairs of the National Film Authority, NFA. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on Ghana Tonight. Let me start off with you, Mr. Odumsaki. You're with the National Film Authority. I mean, this is unpardonable, is it not? I mean, looking at the state of these public or the state-owned cinemas, do you have any intention of turning things around? Hello?
Thank you so much, and good evening to your cherished listeners this evening, and thanks for the opportunity on this program. Yes, we all saw the documentary, and then we can tell that a lot has happened in the past, and clearly we have a lot to do now to revamp the cinema culture in Ghana. You know, the film industry has existed for a long time, but it was until 2016 that the Development and Classification of Film Act 935 was passed to formally bring into being the National Film Authority, which is mandated to regulate all film activities in Ghana.
Okay.
So we started our operations in December 2009, and from that time we've been trying to build structures and streamline the industry. We acknowledge that one of the biggest markets we have in the film industry is the cinemas. And clearly, like you showed in the documentary, most of our cinemas are gone. A lot of factors have contributed to that. One is the emergence of new technology. You know, initially, TV and other things were not as we have it now. So most people will go to the cinemas to watch it because definitely maybe you don't have TV in your home. So people parade to the cinemas and all that. But now almost each and every person has TV in the room. So the attention has shifted to more personal stuff instead of the communal one. Also, spaces, that's the cinema infrastructure, has turned into something else. Now squatters, like you showed, squatters are occupying some. Churches have taken over some of the cinemas and all that. At the National Film Authority, we recognize that it is quite challenging for government to go in there and start building theaters or cinemas in all the districts.
Okay, Mr. Saki,
However,
it's because, now I'm just holding you on these two reasons you've given. The squatters have taken over these cinemas because they were abandoned. If they were functional, the squatters would have no place there. That's number one. The second point, which is the first issue you raised about the evolution of technology. I mean, you either innovate or die. Is that not what they say? There are private cinemas that are operating in this country they are in business. Okay, so why did the state-owned cinemas not respond to the evolution of time and then also adapt to the changing trends to remain relevant?
Hundreds of movies.
Okay, so, you know, a lot of factors has contributed to this. The industry, the cinemas was heavily sustained by the Ghana Film Industry Corporation. That's the JFIC, which was mostly producing most of the Ghanaian movies that were feeding the cinemas. Unfortunately, that was sold to Malaysia. And currently, that is where TV3 is occupying now. That is where it used to be, you know. So that was one of the backside that we had that contributed a lot to the cinema patronage. I agree with you that as things kept evolving, we could have done more on that. But like I told you, the NFA came in 2019, and we have an agenda to revive the Ghana cinema, which we call the Ghana Cinema Agenda. One of the main objectives is to invigorate the cinema-going culture. 2 is to bring investment into the cinema infrastructure. And when I talk about investment, letting people know that this is the market. And like you said, we have some private cinemas doing well. And that are the numbers that we have now. Clearly, these private cinemas have worked from time to this time. Now we are in there and bringing investors down here to look into our cinema culture.
Right.
One other thing that we are also doing
I just wanted you to hold on a bit.
Culture, because the truth is that.
Okay, just let me
Can
just.
you hear me?
Yes, quite clearly. And on that point, that second point you made, I want to bring in Uncle Abeko Sego, as a veteran actor, writer, producer, and director. I mean, Mr. Sego, this certainly, with the current state of affairs, does worry you, you said no. And how does this impact your work as director and producer?
Thank you very much. To break my heart, I believe that's the extreme way to put it. But let me say that I'm disappointed. Of course, being a practitioner, I would wish that we had a vibrant film industry that had about 3 objectives. 1, to position Ghana as a vibrant film industry country. 2, to create jobs for the numerous talented and skilled young people. And 3, also to create wealth for our country, and probably 4, to make Ghana a tourism attractive country, because when we show the beautiful scenarios or sceneries in our country, we would expect that they will attract people to come to the country.
Indeed.
But of course, all these are not happening, and therefore I'll be disappointed.
Okay.
I'll be disappointed.
Right, but would you say that, I mean, the PR, the National Film Authority, has been outlining a number of interventions they intend to put in place to address this. But from the producer perspective, what do you expect, finally?
When you talk about government intervention, I would not expect government to directly put its money in any film. I've said it over and over, that if government should want to give me, no matter how good my script is, if government wants to directly invest in it, they would want to read the script and make contributions. And I don't want any politician to contribute to the direction of my script. What I want, what government should do is to create the environment. Tax, relaxation, the availability of infrastructure, and all that. That is what happens everywhere. In other jurisdictions, governments, for instance, if you bring in equipment, your equipment are not taxed. Once you indicate that after they are being brought in for production, and after the production they'll be returned to source, they are not taxed.
Right.
And then you have other incentives locally that would make the investor, because a foreign investment is not only local, even everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We have international collaboration between local investors and other external investors. So the external, especially the external investors who are coming in, the foreign investors who are coming in.
Yeah. They must actually also take into consideration all these issues. And in fact, this is something that we are on this path. We are visiting all these abandoned cinemas, and my colleague also or I is on this journey. Uncle Abeko Sego, veteran actor, writer, producer, director, thank you. Besma Kodum Saki, Public Relations Officer, National Film Authority. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on Ghana Tonight. Join me same time tomorrow at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. on Key Point on TV3, also on 3FM 92.7. On behalf of the rest of the team, we appreciate your time on Ghana Tonight. Have a great weekend.